So this one's about weed pusher Whitey, right? Whitey weed pusher murdering innocent people for his weed and his weed money. I'll go ahead and attach a screenshot to that concert in Indonesia that I mentioned in a previous video. And it's really curious because white people are like this. They're kind of like a cancer in many ways wherever they go, but also a positive as well as a negative. They're like the best and the worst. So they produce a lot of income and generate economy, but they also cause a lot of harms as a result of generating that economy and income and circulation, things like that. So if you look at Indonesia as a case study, you have a single ethnicity, right? Native Indonesians and different ideologies, Buddhism and Islam. And there's different islands and different halves of the islands even, which are more predominantly Buddhist or Muslim. And so the Muslim side is likely more of the anti-white racism side, right? A lot of anti-white racism from the Muslims in Indonesia, I would imagine, protected them from the harmful, murderous influence of weed pusher Whitey, right? Because if they're true to their religion, they will pick what is right over Whitey weed pusher and his tourism economy and things like that, right? The money. Or the Buddhists were more pacifist about it, and so they were more accepting of, being subverted through finance, by money, having their behavior shaped and reshaped by money, by Whitey weed pusher, to, god damn, this fucking lady's a lot of shit. Anyway, to where they end up dying as a result of Whitey weed pusher. Now, Whitey the weed pusher doesn't give a shit about the lives he destroys, or she. There's white women who push weed as well on anyone, not just coloreds and non-whites, but whites as well. And they don't give a shit about the lives they destroy, the deaths they cause. That was the case with me, right? When I electrocuted myself and almost died. Josh DeHaven, Nicolette St. Marie, Justin Tallman, Adelar de Reuter, like none of those white people who pushed the weed on me that caused the self-electrocution suicide attempt even admit that they had caused almost my death, but at the very least my amputations and third-degree burns and things like that, and my brain injury. So they will fucking kill people without a second thought. They don't give a shit. All they care about is the money, right? The weed and the money, and the weed money. Whites kill each other over weed and weed money. So if you were to track down the white tourists from Australia and Europe and America and Canada, etc., in Indonesia, who pushed marijuana and pushed marijuana culture, that directly caused the deaths of those Indonesians in 2018. And I used to really zoom in on that video of that wave hitting that concert, and you could see bongs and marijuana pipes and alcohol drinks on the dining tables at that concert. For some reason I can't find the original video that I used to see, but there's other videos of it. If you were to track those white people down, they would not voluntarily, accept accountability for the fact that their marijuana pushing directly caused these deaths. And what's really interesting is if you get a geographic variance in political ideation, right, ideological conflicts with politics, out here in New Mexico, the marijuana legalization was pushed by whites as an anti-white thing, like we need to legalize weed because white man bad and systemic racism, which is somehow also against the gays. Because COVID or something, and get your vaccines. Like, it was fucking weird. And my only thought was, well, you are white people. Why are you as a white person telling me that white people bad? White man bad, etc., kill Whitey. Why are white people pushing the message of kill Whitey? I'm not like the other whites. I'm one of the good ones. I'm an ally. Full of shit. No, it was all about greed and politics and money and power. Like, they were very subversive and dishonest about their true motivations. Very interesting. And it's also interesting because a lot of white supremacists on the internet commonly say things like around blacks never relax. So you could say racism against blacks can save lives, right? Because then you avoid being murdered by a black. But when it comes to the same thing against whites, like racism against whites saved a lot of Muslim lives in Indonesia from whitey weed pusher. Oh, they always leave that out, right? It's very subjective and tribalistic. You know, it's only bad when other people do it, but it's totally kosher when we do it.